abusers are users, so don't use drugs. Don't use drugs. Ah!
Hey, little dude, send your mama and daddy out of the room. I gotta get you up on this. You know who I am. Snake, dealing in weed, coke, crack, your choice. Take one hit and you'll do anything to cop more. Steal from your mama, lie, cheat on your homeboys. But hey, that's the price you pay when you deal with dudes like me. Now, some folks will tell you that I'm dealing in poison. But hey, do I look like the kind of guy that would do that to a kid like you? Yes!
Well, Snake, the man. For the listeners, this dealer was as he was walking was slowly transitioning into a reptilian form, and then at the end, fully decent. I'd say decent makeup. Would you say practical effects there?
Yeah, I'm very impressed by the graphics. He went full Snake.
Full Snake. Well, I guess it wasn't practical effects. Once the tongue, there was something at work there. But yeah, he went full Snake, full reptilian mode.
And it was one shot.
One continuous shot. Yes. Yep.
So that meant for those of us who want to know the behind the scenes, that means they had to shoot that several times, or they had different people hide behind because the transition poles to like take over.
That's right. Yeah, because he crossed. Yeah, there was one part he crossed in the shadows because it goes from like there's like stages where you go back and kind of see he's at one point where he's in a mid transitional form, which is almost like more frightening than the full Snake. It's when you see kind of that in between. But also,
you know what? If becoming a drug dealer turned me into a hybrid snake, I probably would become a drug dealer.
Yeah,
because that's power, that's individualism.
Big time. You can flex. I mean, if you got that tongue, you got that forked tongue coming out like that, you can definitely flex.
You got that big fat reptile head. There's nothing sexier than that.
No, that was some girth on that reptilian head.
It was a fat head.
Fat snake.
That was a fat head.
Yeah,
that was a fat head.
I don't know if I've ever seen a snake quite like with that kind of dome on it, but it was kind of a mix of like lizard person and snake. I mean the messaging, of course, the serpentine, always villain, always cast as the villain, the snakes. So I guess that's the messaging.
But also the language, like I'll keep it honest. Like if that person rolled through talking like that in the Bronx, you're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. What are you talking like that? What's your problem? Especially like if he turned into a snake, you get the shit beat out of him.
Oh
what the fuck's going on here, dude?
No, he would get worked. Because he was mid deal. Yeah, he's right on the corner there. So it's like this is a walk and talk with where he's explaining, and also exactly. It's kind of corny to some degree as well. Of this like, hey, tell mommy and daddy to get out of the room. It's like this idea that they're lured. Again, it's like we talked about before. People using drugs for the reasoning being it's not this. They're being lured by the evil serpent out of this this idyllic wonderland that they're growing up in. It's like I mean this. You don't have to sell that hard. Is my point. In those situations.
Well, yeah, I like because the ideology behind it obviously is trash. But what is fascinating is what they think would reach people.
Right.
Because it's it's what they think would reach inner city brown and black folk.
Right.
They're like, oh, this would scare them. A person turned into a snake. I was like, are you for sure?
Yeah.
And normally what it is probably they got one person of color to reach out to, and they didn't want to lose their job. And they're like, yeah, man, this is a great idea. You guys are so
snakes
brilliant.
Are scary, man. Yeah, snakes.
I'm just happy to be part of this group. I'm happy to collaborate with you guys. All these ideas are great. And this is not at all disrespectful to people who look like me. And I'm going to tell you that, honestly, because I have nothing to lose except this job and all this money.
Yes. So let's definitely cast a young black dude as a snake. Let's have that happen. Let's have him turn into a snake right before our eyes. That's a fun. And he also outs himself at the end. It's that idea of like, would I really do this? Yes. Which again, I think was probably just to get the tongue, flapping there. But really, I'm like, he just owns it as well. Like, I mean, you just turn into a snake and then you go, yeah, I'm a real snake.
That's also a great point that you just made. What is the need and want of Snake?
Yeah, what is
to have you buy drugs? Because if he's turned into a snake to scare you, He's losing business.
Big time. Because I mean, I'll even
Okay.
say it for myself. Like, let's be, we want to be fucking cool customers over here. If I went to buy an 8-ball from a dude who turned into a snake, I'm not saying I wouldn't continue with the transaction fully, but I'd take a moment at least. And I'm a grown ass man. You know what I mean? Like that would be a little. I'm like, if he's talking, if the age range here is like teenagers, I'm probably I'm hustling. I'm getting out of there if he turns it.
You want to promise them good things. You want to promise them, look at all the villains. They're always promised good things to people. We're talking like Saruman, Lord Voldemort, Ronald Reagan. They all said good things that would happen for you if you served them, and then they fucked you over because that's what they did.
That's right. That's right.
So, just the premise of this is broken because Snake would not participate. If this Snake was a real person, they would not participate. That's a slander against Snake.
It absolutely is. And also
logic, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's outing other Snake people. I mean, it's like, Dick Cheney never showed his lizard person form. He didn't just, start,
No, but it came out a lot.
I mean, you saw it. The skin.
He can't hold it back.
By the end, the skin was melting off. Yes. But I mean, he never fully mask off lizard tongue out being like, ha,
No, and I think we're in a safe base to say this. Dick Cheney is fucking hot.
Right? This guy.
I was like, I want to fuck him
Dick
right
Cheney.
in the jowl.
He's got some jowls. He's got some jowls on.
He had a nice.
Do you think he puts any work in the
jowl.
bedroom? You think what do you think you know what I mean? Like, is there any way that the bedroom conquest can fulfill the insatiable appetites of Dick Cheney?
First of all, he's paying people. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's very much like, they're moving his body like a marionette. Okay. That's what they're doing.
They're finding all those lizard scales.
Yeah. Yeah. And he probably loves it. And it's very much probably like a ceremony. There's probably candles. There's probably bloodletting.
Sure. It's a very Abu Ghraib vibe. He's got people, hooking his nuts up to car batteries and hoods. Yeah. Putting hoods on them.
He's speaking ancient languages that died millions of years ago, And so it's hot. Okay. It's undeniably hot.
There's something ritualistic about that for sure. I could see that.
If your sex isn't ritualistic and wasn't based in various ceremonies and rituals that started millions of years ago, then why are you having sex? What sex are you having if you're having sex at all?
It's true. I also like that people just write off the whole Bohemian Grove thing. I'm like, these ritualistic things are apart for a reason. These are the people who view themselves as the masters of the universe. They're all about ritual and sacrifice.
Yeah, there are just full-blown sex parties in Washington, D.C. Factual, because there's sex parties everywhere. And because they're the people who run the country are probably really elaborate.
How about that?
From what I heard from...
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, just that congressman who went in and was in and out. What was the dude's name who was in the wheelchair? What was his name? A Republican congressman. He just openly talked about all the coke parties and being invited to the orgies, and then he was just run out on a rail. What the hell was that young man's name?
That's right.
Remember,
he did bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, there's just the cycle just goes. I'm like, there's so much thrown at us at once that people just forget. But he openly was just saying, they offered me, bringing me into these, eyes wide shut kind of situations and all these coke parties, and they were like, you, young man, are out. Before you're even in, you're out. So that's
because you don't talk about it.
No.
You gotta keep it on the hush hush.
He was like, I want to get so many podcast fucking requests to be on all these podcasts if I just talk this shit. He didn't see the long game there before he even got his chance to get in there.
You can be a podcast guest when you can be a political pundit.
That's true. There's especially if you have that kind of personality, which every politician does. I mean, they're shitty comedians. They're less better looking actors. They're entertainers, but they're not quite as, so they get into politics.
But they got them nice, sexy jowls you can fuck for days.
Weekly dose.
Hey America, there's no use in sleeping with your children, with your daughter.